How's it going, everyone? As you can see, we got a little bit of freezing rain last night. The trees are covered in ice, and it feels more like winter today than it does spring. But that's what you kind of expect here in Canada. One day it's spring, the next day it's winter, so we're just going to make the most of it. It seems to be warming up a little bit now. This ice is starting to melt off, but we got some work today to do. We're going to turn the compost pile, as well as the day has finally come to start our tomatoes. So very exciting day. We got around 30 varieties that we're going to be starting, so make sure you stay tuned, and we're going to get going here. This pile here right now is sitting at around 20 degrees Celsius, about 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and you know, it's not crazy hot, but considering that it is around the freezing point outside, 0, -1, I'm pretty happy with this temperature. I'm not going to turn it today, just turned it a few days ago, so we're going to let it sit and kind of cook off at this temp for maybe another week, and then we'll go ahead and rotate it again. Just a quick little update on the lettuce seedlings. As you can see here, everything is coming out nice and strong, looking very good. I'm hopeful to get these out hopefully next weekend, weather depending, so we will see. Alrighty, we are ready to go here. We got all of our 3-inch pots filled up, ready to go. We got them labeled, and it's time to get started on the 2025 tomato season. I got my list here of varieties, and we're all ready to go. So first up, the Whittle Orange tomato. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make a little hole there. Go ahead, cover that up. A little bit of moisture, and that is done. Next up, we have the Abruzzo pear. This variety is actually called Giganti del Uomo. So, an Italian heirloom from Abruzzo, Italy. Next up, we have the Brandywine Sudus strain. I'm going to be doing 2 plants of the Sudus strain, and both are from different seed companies, so we'll see how that goes. We have Costoluto Genovese. I grew this variety last year, and it was a very good producer with great flavor. Next up, we have Katie's Oxheart. I always do 3 seeds per. You could always do 2. I would do at least 2 just in case, but I like to do 3. It's really a personal preference. Katie's Oxheart can go back over here. Next up, we have the St. Teresa tomato, and we actually have 2 of these that we are going to be sowing. That's one, and that is 2. A lot of these tomatoes I've never tried before, majority of them I haven't tried before. So I'm very excited. Very excited for the St. Teresa tomato. I heard it's very prolific, and it's a large pink fruited beefsteak with amazing flavor. And I believe it's from Slovakia. Could be wrong on that. Next up we have the Sarah Black tomato, which is one that is apparently a very prolific producer and an early producer of very flavorful dark tomatoes. Not sure, oh here it is. I really should have put these in order. Nonetheless, the Sarah Black tomato. Seed came out of there, so that's going to be for sure one that's going in. That one was destined. There you have the Sarah Black tomato. Next up is the Tobolsk tomato. This is a Russian heirloom, a yellow-orange fruiting tomato that is supposedly very, very sweet. It's also prolific. So we got some here that are really gonna hopefully be producers for us, and other ones that we are maybe not the most prolific, but they make up for it in the flavor department. Next up we have the black cherry tomato. I have never tried these, but I've heard so many good things about them from many different people. So I'm very excited to try it. Now this tomato often gets mistaken for an heirloom, and it is an open pollinated variety, but it was developed in the late 80s. So by technical terms, it's not really considered an heirloom just yet, but it's definitely on its way. Black cherry. Next up we have Windsall, or Henderson's Windsall. This is a very interesting tomato, old American variety I believe, and it's got a pretty cool story behind it. Very excited for this one as well. Next up we have the Italian heirloom tomato. I'm going to be growing 2 of these, as this is another one that is early and prolific, which is something that I'm interested in, especially living here in Canada. It's always nice when you can get tomatoes right around the last week of July into the first week of August. And those of course are not cherry tomatoes, but those big slicers. And that's what I'm hoping to get out of the Italian heirloom. Next up we have a personal family heirloom. This is from Abruzzo, Italy, and I have never grown it before. These seeds have been in my family for quite some time, and I am very excited to try it out. If these go well, I'll be very excited. These are probably the variety I'm looking most forward to. The Sicilian saucer I grew a few years ago, and it was definitely the biggest tomato I'd ever grown. These things can get very big. and they also have very good flavor. So kind of getting the best of both worlds with them. Next up we have the Cherokee Purple tomato, which was my favorite tomato last season. It just had the best flavor, and it also produced very well for me. So I'm very excited to try out the Cherokee Purple tomato. Next up we have the Ananas Noir, which is a very interesting variety. It's kind of a green tomato, but also kind of a dark tomato, so it's pretty interesting. Many people love the flavor, some people don't. We'll see which side I fall on. But here we go with this tomato. Some of these I'm sowing a little bit heavier just based off of how the seeds look. Some of them definitely look more fresh than others, so just want to make sure I have the best possible germination rates here, because time is of the essence this time of year, and you plan for these days months and months in advance, and you want to make sure your timing is as good as it can possibly be. But of course, nothing is ever as planned. Here we have the Paul Robeson tomato, which is another Russian heirloom with a pretty cool backstory, and it's one that I am very much looking forward to. I feel like I'm saying that about every single one of these varieties, but it's true. I spent many months going over these and researching these and figuring out my favorite, or at least what I think would be my favorite varieties, and ones that I was just really interested in trying. And this one was at the top of the list for a while now, so it's only fitting that it made it into the final cut. I've heard great things about this tomato. I've also heard not so great things, but that seems to be the case with most varieties. I think it depends on your location and the season you have. It's not really fair to write off a variety based off of a bad year when all the tomatoes really aren't tasting that good. So many other factors. Alrighty, now we're gonna be sowing the lone hybrid, if we could find it. Here it is, Sun Gold. This is the only hybrid I'm going to be growing this year. Will I regret it? I'm not sure yet, but for right now, we're just gonna stick to the one hybrid, if I could find it. Where did I put it? Seeds have been found. Everybody loves Sun Gold, it seems. And it is a great variety, I cannot lie. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend it is not. It probably is one of the best, if not the best tasting cherry tomato that you'll have. That is if you like sweet tomatoes. Not everybody likes a sweet tomato. I grew this last year and it produced all the way till the end of the year until the frost, so it also had some very good disease resistance, which I was kind of surprised about because it's not really advertised on it, but I guess most hybrids do come with disease resistance to some extent. The next variety we'll be doing is another Brandywine Suda strain. This one, however, is from a different seed company. So we will get started on that. That's the Suda strain. This next variety is one that I obtained in a seed trade with Craig LeHoulier. It is an Italian heirloom called Valdiciana. I'm probably saying that wrong. It almost looks like a Cosoluto Genovese, but it's a dark version, so it's a chocolate colored tomato that has some nice ribbing, apparently some incredible flavor. So we will see. Thank you to Craig for sharing these with me. The next tomato is an oxheart variety called Cuore de Bue Albania. I probably said that wrong, but it's essentially Albania oxheart. It's from Italy, of course, and it has that beautiful teardropped shaped fruit with the nice ribbing in the upper portion, wide base, narrow top, just a very nice looking tomato that apparently has some great flavor and is also multi-useful. You could use it for tomato sauce or just eating it fresh. So excited for this tomato. It's the Albania oxheart. Next up we have the Olena Ukrainian, which is a Ukrainian heirloom pink fruited potato leaf. I love potato leaf varieties. Planning on doing a whole section in my garden this year that's, well, just one row that is just potato leaves. This is just a classic pink fruited potato leaf with amazing flavor. They all seem to have amazing flavor, these potato leaves. Of course, the classic one is the brandy wine. Next up we have Gray's Sweet Cherry. This is one of the few cherry varieties I'm starting this year. This is a red cherry tomato. Again, prolific early, what you expect from most cherries, and something you're probably going to be picking all summer long, which is a good thing, but these ones don't seem to make it inside the house. These cherry tomatoes, they seem to be garden snacks. The seeds here are very small, and apparently these are a little bit difficult to germinate, so I'm going to sow them a little heavier than the other varieties. Put about 5 seeds in there. Next we have the Costoluto Fiorentino. Last year I grew Costoluto Genovese. It was my cousin's favorite tomato. I enjoyed it very much too. And it's similar to Genovese, but apparently there's a couple slight differences. So we will see. I'll be growing both this year, so we could do a side-by-side comparison and see if there really is any difference. We have the Jefferson Giant tomato. This tomato is very interesting. Apparently it's from the late 1880s, but there's some controversy around that. Regardless, it's a beautiful heart-shaped pink fruited variety with wispy foliage and bold flavors. So very, very excited. The next tomato is the Green Giant tomato. I have actually never had a green tomato before. This is a green one, right? This is supposedly one of the best ones, and it's potato leaf, so of course I had to get it. I'm very excited for this tomato, to be honest, because I've never tried a green tomato, and they're not very common in my area. You don't see a lot of local gardeners growing these, so it's something that I was very, very excited about. So we'll see how the Green Giant tomato holds up. An exciting variety that a lot of people seem to love and have right at the top of their list for flavor, which is interesting considering it's a green tomato. You would think it wouldn't be the best, but a lot of people beg to differ. The next one we have is the Brandywine Flatfoot strain. This is the yellow version of Brandywine, and this specific strain is from the Flatfoot family, I believe. I'm going off of memory here, so if I get anything wrong, I apologize. This is supposedly one of the best tasting yellow-orange tomatoes. Haven't had the best success, I will say, with the yellow varieties. So this year I'm trying to change that by trying out a couple different ones, and hoping for the best. This one was right at the top of my list, as I love Brandywine Pink and Suda strain, so I'm assuming this is going to be very good as well. We finally made it to the end here. If I could find the end, might not be able to. It's hiding, it doesn't want me to finish. Here it is. The 1884 tomato. Apparently, the story goes, there was a flood in West Virginia, I believe, and they were looking through the flood debris, and in a big pile of debris, this lone tomato was growing, and they saved seed from it, and it is what we have today, 1884, from the year 1884. It's a large pink fruited tomato, regularly foliage, that apparently has all that old-timey tomato flavor. I'm very excited about this tomato. This is one that has been at the top of my list for a long time, and I'm hoping I like it and it does well. I'm sure I will like it, but sometimes these tomatoes don't do too well in my zone, so I'm hoping it can handle the Canadian soil here. And that's it. We sowed them all. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next. So the next step here is going to be to cover these with some plastic wrap just to keep the moisture in there. I'm going to give them one final spray down here. I'm going to go ahead and get this wrap out. It's looking like we're going to need probably 2 pieces here, because we got a lot of tomatoes. That's okay. Now I personally like to start them in these 3-inch pots as opposed to starting them in smaller trays. You can do that too, there's nothing wrong with that. You just of course have to transplant them after. I prefer to just start them in these. That way I don't need to worry about transplanting afterwards. The only time they're getting transplanted is when they're going outside, hopefully mid-May. So it's exactly 8 weeks to the day to about the May long weekend, call it, which is usually the time that we get to put them outside. So hopefully our timing is good. Last year we started them a little bit earlier, so this year we made sure to wait a little longer, as hard as that may be, so they could always catch up. Don't want to start them too early. Take unnecessary risks. Tomatoes are really fast growing, so they'll always catch up. Alrighty, now we're going to put these in a nice warm spot. I don't usually use heat mats. It gets pretty warm up in my room, and there's a vent right below them that shoots up some heat, and it's right by a window that gets a lot of sun, as it's a south-facing window. So it gets pretty warm in there. These should hopefully germinate within the next week or so. So stay tuned. We'll make sure to document the whole process, and it's going to be a great season.